Welcome to another episode of Lights, Camera, Akron.
This isn't just any show. This is the evening of our live show. Coming up, we'll take a look at an interview with New York's best-selling author, Peggy Orenstein.
Then, we'll check out a student who went the extra mile to make every student feel at home.
And later, we get the inside scoop about the fundraiser to help sick kids, Dance Marathon.
All this and more coming up on Lights, Camera, Akron.
What the girls did express, though, was both an increasing entitlement and an increasing
We made it 15 weeks.
I'm so grateful for this experience.
Me too. We had an awesome team this semester. But Brooke, did you hear about the best-selling author that came through the University of Akron?
Yes, I actually did. I heard Peggy Orenstein was here and our very own Leslie Flores got to interview her.
What the girls did express, though, was both an increasing entitlement and an increasing pressure to present themselves as sexy, whether they were online.
I was given the opportunity to speak with New York's best-selling author and journalist, Peggy Orenstein. Her most recent book, Girls and Navigating the Complicated New Landscape, touches upon the stigma of girls' sexuality. I asked Peggy what her focus was and why she thought it was important.
My name is Peggy Orenstein, and I'm a journalist.
Peggy spoke at the University of Akron to encourage students to be more open with their sexuality and desires. I asked her why it is important to spread those kinds of messages.
The essential aspect of it is that girls today have so much more of a voice in the public world. They have so much more opportunity, they're much more driven, they're ambitious, so they feel that they're entitled to engage in sexual behavior as well, but they don't necessarily feel entitled to enjoy it. And that's what a lot of this discussion is about. I think that university students are a great place to start in transforming messages around sexuality for themselves and then carrying that message forward. I mean, honestly, I hope that people hear this and they transform the message starting when their children are infants, because in this culture, in American culture, what we tend to do is focus on risk and danger. And we really need to shift that conversation to being more about balancing responsibility with joy.
She has written several books on the subject, and I have talked with her about the motivation behind her most recent one.
I've mostly covered girls and women issues for most of my career, and my most recent book is on girls and sex. The book came out of a couple of things. One was I had just written a book on littler girls and the way that the pink princess culture of little girlhood was being marketed to girls and telling them that how they looked was more important than who they were.
Everybody knows that you'll get more likes if you put up a picture of yourself in a bikini than you will if you put up a picture of yourself in a parka.
And we were simultaneously having this big discussion about consent and about sexual assault. And that's so important. It's so important that young people understand the ground rules for consent. But that was where the discussion was ending. And when we don't talk to kids, the internet and the digital street corner is going to come in and educate them for us. So I felt that if we really wanted to have open, honest, frank discussion about what happened after yes, if we wanted kids to engage ethically and enjoyably and reciprocally and responsibly, we had to take a look at what this culture was telling them, what their experience was, and what the landscape looked like for girls as their roles had changed.
You can visit Peggy Orenstein's website for more information. This has been Leslie Flores, Lights.
Her passion towards women and sexual too.
With the recent rising racial tensions and the dangerous rhetoric we heard during a recent presidential campaign, a group of UA students and faculty decided to make a poster to encourage all people to embrace diversity and inclusion in all its forms. You might have seen them around campus. It's the You Belong Here posters. To talk more about this, I sat down with UA senior Zach Kaiser. He is the president of the Omicron Delta Kappa fraternity, the fraternity funded the making of the posters.
It started circulating around a few months ago. I think I saw it on Facebook maybe, but when we dove a little deeper into the details, we saw that it was actually first produced at the University of Kentucky, and then Kent State made an adaptation to it, and then we kind of spun ours off of Kent State, although they're pretty similar.
The poster was modeled after Kent State University, but it was made to have an Akron theme. Zach explains the logistics behind the design of the poster.
Yeah, so like I said, it was modeled heavily after Kent State's because we wanted to have some sense of uniformity amongst all the posters that were up. But essentially, like, at least for the coloring, we did it so that it was kind of Akron colors. It's formatted in a way that there's a sense of repetition throughout because we wanted to make sure that all of these groups that we feel like are targeted, that we address kind of where they are, and that we were able to emphasize that we are welcoming to them. So that was kind of the layout behind it. And then at the bottom, it's just it's a collective statement calling all students together to embrace the diversity that we have here on campus, but even in a greater sense, like in our Akron community.
When talking about such controversial topics like what is displayed on the poster, there are going to be some people that are going to have some very strong opinions on it, whether they're positive or negative. Zach explains the praise and backlash received from the displayment of the posters.
We've gotten a lot of praise so far. I'd say that we've distributed about 120 posters around the university, and we've delivered about, I'd say, 60 posters around the community to local businesses. We've received a little backlash, although none of it has really been formal. It's been occasionally students, well, I'm assuming students, but it could be anyone, have been writing on the posters some statements that they feel like should have been included that weren't, or felt that their demographic or their group wasn't represented in our poster. That's about the only backlash we've received. So it's been overwhelmingly more positive.
Some of the statements on the poster did come from things that were said during the presidential campaign. Zach explains how that may be true, that it should be focused on people in general, not political viewpoints.
Yeah, I mean, undoubtedly, I don't think that we can avoid that this poster came as a result of some of the rhetoric that was spreading from the campaign, but what ODK has voiced, the organization who has backed the funding for this, and as well as the professors who are working alongside us, is that it's not really as much a partisan issue as it is just a people issue. So whether you're Democrat or Republican, I think it's safe to say that we all want to create an environment that's welcoming to everyone. So although it is a result of some partisan issues, the product itself is not labeled Democrat or Republican or anywhere on that spectrum. It's more so us just viewing people as people first, regardless of which demographic or which race or ethnicity they align themselves with.
A poster could speak 1,000 words in just a few sentences. I asked Zach what he hopes people receive from this poster.
I think one of the great things about it just being a poster and that people can hang it up is it's very passive, so it's not like a one-day program type thing. So I think one of the main goals is that, for one, it gives people a chance to publicly stand up for something that they believe in, which is, in our case, diversity and inclusion. So I think it's one main purpose. I think secondly, it's a great way to start a conversation. So having these up on a lot of different faculty members' doors, when students are coming in there for office hours or when meetings are taking place, the goal is that in passing that, a student could strike up a conversation with a professor, or professors and colleagues could chat about, like, what does this mean? Where did you get it from? Why is that on your door? Where do you stand on this? Because I think that's one of the biggest things that we're missing, is that instead of just having these type of conversations with each other, we tend to go the opposite direction and not really have that conversation about why do you think this or why do you think this. So we want to facilitate a space where that conversation can happen.
There are several ways that both faculty and students can help spread inclusion and diversity on campus.
So on all of our posts, well, the newer posters that have been distributed, ODK's website is on there. It's www.uaodk.weebly.com. It's on the top right corner of all the posters. So if you're a faculty member or a staff member and you'd like to get a poster, you can just go to our contact form and we will manage the logistics and get it to you. If you're a student group who's looking to maybe help fund some of the costs for the posters as we're spreading, not just across the community, but even across state borders, we've actually sent some to some colleagues across the country, which has been really awesome. So if a student organization would like to help front those costs, the best contact would be to go through our website as well, and that gets directed to our executive team's email account, and then we'll manage the logistics from there.
This has been Naquan James for Lights, Camera, Akron.
That was such a great package. And a while ago, I attended a meeting where Mayor Ginther of Columbus signed an order that made Columbus a safe sanctuary city. He actually looked into the news cameras and he said, I don't care who you are, wherever you are, whoever you are, you have a home here. And it was really inspiring to see that.
I'm sure it was. And I know our president of our university, President Wilson, is also a very big advocate for equal rights. And I'm proud to say that we have such a diverse body of students here. All right, we're going to take a short commercial break, but when we come back, Cortez Grayson takes us to Folk Hall for an art gallery.
You're watching 300 Seconds of Science.
You're watching.
You're watching.
You're watching. You're watching.
You're watching 300 Seconds of Science.
300
300 seconds of
science.
Science.
300
300
science.
300 science.
Seconds. You're watching. Seconds. You're watching. Seconds. You're watching. Seconds. You're watching.
You're watching
300 seconds of
Science. Estás mirando a 300 segundos de ciencia.
Matt Farkas, arrested for aggravated slapstick comedy. Kylie Stanley, arrested for a horrifying scandal involving puns. Sage Graham, arrested with charges of malicious satire. And Chris Seifert, arrested for partial involvement. So this is the squad I've gathered. What do you think?
I don't know. Do you really want to send all these people on a suicide mission like that?
They have exactly the skills we need here. With them, we can produce the greatest sketch comedy show ever.
For all the best in arts, music, and entertainment, check out Lowdown every day on channel 45-1. We have exclusive interviews with local bands, artists, and you may even see a few familiar faces every now and then. So in the meantime, be sure to tune in and check us out on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at ZTV Lowdown.
Welcome back to Lights, Camera, Akron.
Some students at the University of Akron put on an art gala for Angle's opening reception in Folk Hall.
I was able to attend the Angle's opening reception for 25 senior University of Akron students at Folk Hall. The 25 students each had their own table set up with a portfolio unveiling all of their artwork and a portable iPad allowing visitors to get a closer look at their masterpieces. The student who created the design project was senior Chitani Miller, a senior graphic designer at the University of Akron. Chitani explains her idea for the display event, what it means to her, and her favorite piece of her portfolio that she created.
I really wanted to show how everybody has their own design approach and their own angle when they come into into a project, and it really comes together as a cohesive piece at the end. And I feel like all the triangles coming together and everything really shows that. I have my own angle when I'm approaching a project, and I really love using color, which I used in the design, and I really felt like it represented me. If you look at my portfolio, I have tons of color. I used color in everything, and I just felt like it was really part of things that I like to do. I have a project that I did, and I entered in the American Advertising Awards this year, and I ended up winning a gold, and it was a rebrand of a local business, and I really just was proud of my work. Again, using bright colors. The colors were bright red and bright yellow, and it's a toy store, so I ended up using a rubber chicken as the logo, and it's one of my favorite pieces.
Next, I sat and talked to Janice Trotman, who currently is the interim director at the Myers School of Art, where she mostly oversees all the students. She talks about why she created the Design 9 room, its sole purpose for students, and all the recognition it has received over the years.
We started 21 years ago. The studio started 21 years ago, and we just wanted an on-campus experience for students to get real-world work with clients, and we just take on really creative projects for the studio, so it's great for their portfolios. I am the creative director with my colleague, Associate Professor John Morrison, and since we're art directing the projects, we don't want to compete against other universities and other students, so we only put the work into professional competitions. We won them on a local level, and we were pretty excited, and every time they go a step higher, so we went national, international, and it was really a fabulous experience for us and the students. But the really great thing about that is that every time we win an award, the university's name is out there, and that's what we really love.
I also met senior Bobby Powell, who specializes in interactive design. He describes why he enjoys it, his artwork that he creates, and his advice he would give to younger students who want to go into graphic design.
Well, I really like interactive design. I like to bring just creative type and layout with well thought out motion, and to be able to just integrate that into its own little environment to really engross the viewer. I enjoy designing characters, which allows me to express creativity in just different ways and showing my different styles through the different characters that I design. I would tell them that they should definitely do it because I think that, again, it's such a diverse field. There's so many different avenues you can choose. You can do illustration, you can do animation, you can do layout and type. There's so many different things you can do with graphic design, so I think it's a great decision to go. I would say go for it.
Lastly, I spoke to Arnold Tunstall, who is in charge of the Emily Davis Gallery. He goes into detail about what it offers, what inspires him to help students, and his opinion on Chaitomi's Angles idea.
Well, the Emily Davis Gallery is one of a series of a number of galleries we have here at the Myers School of Art. And we change art out several times a year, and we focus on artwork being brought into students to show work that's being made out there in the world, and then showcase the talent that we have here at the Myers School of Art with our faculty and our students. I'm continually inspired by the students because they're finding out how to work as artists, and watching them go from someone who's figuring out how to make something to figuring out how to show it to the world is really thrilling for me. And that's part of the reason why we have a gallery, is to show these artists how to then showcase their art. It's like having a dance department and not having a stage. Well, I'll say the exhibition is difficult because it's a group exhibition, and it's really hard to bring together 30 artists and sort of show off their work. But they presented a number of wonderful ideas to us, and having this idea of angles and them figuring out their way in the world and then showcasing that and all the different angles of their career as students, and now showing off their different sides to the professional world has been really exciting to see as well.
I had a fantastic time at the Angles Senior Graphic Design exhibition, and I'm so glad I was able to see a lot of great artwork from some really talented senior designers. This has been Cortez Grayson. Lights, camera, Akron.
I actually had a full ride to go to Columbus College of Art and Design for ceramics, but obviously I chose Akron for obvious reasons. So I have a strong appreciation for art because I really know how much work goes into it.
And it must have been hours of work. Looking at all these students, from the paintings to the sculpture, you can see what they put into it.
Switching gears here a little bit, the Rape Crisis Center has a lot to offer, from counseling to other events like the Walk of Heroes.
Peter Palmer talks with Amina Hall about this event.
This week, I had the opportunity to sit down with Amina Hall of the Rape Crisis Center to talk about their event, Walk of Heroes.
My name is Amina Hall. I'm the Campus Services Manager for the Rape Crisis Center of Medina and Summit County. So what that means, although it's a very fancy title, I work here at the University of Akron. We have a great collaboration with the University of Akron, and there are 7 of us advocates from the Rape Crisis Center that are housed here. We have 2 offices on University of Akron campus, one at the Rec Center, and we have one here at the Student Union. 4 of us are housed at the Student Union, so it's myself, an outreach and education advocate, a direct service advocate, and volunteer and intern coordinator to help students. And the second location that I talked about, the Rec Center, houses the 3 other advocates. So we have 2 direct service advocates who work with clients, along with another outreach and education advocate. So we're here to provide all of our free, confidential, and anonymous services to University of Akron community.
Every year, the Rape Crisis Center hosts a Walk of Heroes event at Lock 3 in downtown Akron. This event is held at the end of April, which is Sexual Assault Awareness Month. Locals from Summit County and beyond come to support all survivors of sexual assault. At the event, there's entertainment, food, and fun for all ages.
For the past 12 years, we've had this fantastic event. It's usually hosted at the last Friday of April, formerly known as Walk a Mile in Her Shoes. It's a huge national event, and we've done Walk a Mile in Her Shoes for the past 11 years, although it's been an amazing event. The community has loved it. So many people have participated walking a mile in women's heels. But the reason we decided to change and revamp the event and call it the Walk of Heroes is because we really wanted to bring awareness and celebrate the heroes in our community that fight the fight against sexual violence every day. So the police officers, the judges, the prosecutors, the students here at the University of Akron, the everyday heroes, and the advocates that do this work for a living every day. So we really wanted to be more all-inclusive, to include all cultures, all races, all genders, all sexual orientation, because being inclusive is really, really important to us, and also making sure that we're highlighting and bringing awareness to all sorts of survivors of sexual violence.
Amina and the Rape Crisis Center have raised tens of thousands of dollars from this event. All of the money that is donated supports continuous free and confidential services that the center offers to the community.
If you're a University of Akron student, or University of Akron is your home, or you're a faculty member or staff, you're more than welcome to stop by either one of our two locations. So Student Union or the Rec Center. We have pamphlets and flyers on it. Individuals can go on our website and find out more information like that. Or I tell everybody the easiest thing everybody's doing, follow us on Instagram or Facebook, and like our page, and you can find information. We have postings on it 24/7.
This has been Peter Palmer for Lights, Camera, Akron.
Last year, our reporter Maddie Watkins and I attended the Walk a Mile in Her Shoes event, which is actually the same event, but they changed the name to be sure to be inclusive of all genders.
See, this is great. Watching a package compared to the one you guys did last year, you still see the same message remains there. And it's a stronger awareness of sexual assault. And that brings us to our final commercial break.
When we come back, Chris Seifert takes us to Dance Marathon.
Don't wait. Communicate. Make your emergency plan today.
Of all the things you've done with your bike, donating it to Goodwill may be the most incredible of all. Your donations help fund job placement and training for people in your community, which means your stuff can be more powerful than you think. Goodwill. Donate stuff, create jobs.
We cannot be bystanders.
We can stop to make sure someone is okay.
We can warn someone when their drink isn't safe.
And disrupt the situation.
We can.
Get someone a cab.
Or walk them home safely.
We can make campuses safer for our friends.
Our roommates.
Our classmates. Our fellow human beings.
We cannot be bystanders.
We can. Intervene.
It's on us.
All of us.
Learn how and take the pledge at itsonus.org.
There's a shelter pet who wants to meet you. Meet one today. Visit theshelterpetproject.org. Adopt.
Welcome back to Lights, Camera, Akron. For our final story of the night and the semester, we get an inside look at Dance Marathon, where the community helped raise money for kids battling cancer.
Recently, I attended the UA organization event Dance Marathon held in the Student Union. Dance Marathon raises money for Akron Children's Hospital and wants to make people aware of the differences it makes in the community. I had the chance to sit down with a few important members of the Dance Marathon team, including Executive Director Hannah Yo, Family Relations Director Samantha Rossman, and Morale Director Mitch Wall. All three had fantastic things to say about being a part of the event, with Mitch explaining what Dance Marathon was.
Dance Marathon is its own actual registered student organization on campus, Dance Marathon at the University of Akron. It was an organization we're in our third year currently, started by a few individuals who heard about it through a ton of different schools throughout the nation. And we have members who are involved in fraternity and sorority life, involved in honoraries, involved in different business organizations, different engineers. So all different kind of students on campus get involved and help raise money for Akron Children's Hospital, which is our whole goal here.
Not knowing a lot about Dance Marathon, I asked all three what they wanted people to take away from the event.
I just really want to make it aware that we are doing this all for the kids at Akron Children's Hospital, raising money for the families, like our miracle children, so Akron Children's Hospital can keep making more miracles happen.
So I want them to realize that these children are what we do all of this for, and I want them to come to this event and have fun. I want them to celebrate their fundraising efforts that they've done all year just to meet their fundraising goal. And so probably the two most important things are what we do is for a great cause, and then we're also benefiting the University of Akron.
Yeah, of course. So the big thing on this university is everybody's working towards a different cause, and everybody is trying to support different charities and fundraisers. And my biggest thing is I just enjoy seeing everybody come together and helping towards a common goal. So whether you're supporting a children's hospital or a different charity or a disease or something, some efforts against something, just helping out everybody in a little way can get a lot done. So that's what I would definitely hang my hat on.
After a few minutes, it was easy to see that the event belonged to the children. I asked Hannah how long Akron Children's has been involved in Dance Marathon.
So Dance Marathon is a nationwide movement that these dance marathons raise money for Children's Miracle Network hospitals, and so Akron Children's is our local Children's Miracle Network hospital. So all the money we raise stays in Akron. It goes straight to the hospital.
One day a year at these Dance Marathon events, we try to make it as exciting and normal of a day for them. So we do anything they really are looking forward to. We've had an inflatable in here, and I've been running races with them all day. Different things, face painting, dancing with them, just making the day about them. So it's been a really great experience just seeing smiles on their faces.
Everyone in the event had a passion and a want to be there. In fact, every participant of Dance Marathon stood the entire time. I asked Morale Director Mitch Wall why this was.
So as it's called in the name, Dance Marathon, we are supposed to be standing up and dancing for the entire length of the event. Some lengths start all the way at 8 hours, all the way to 24 hours. Ours is currently a 10-hour event where we do have to stand the whole entire time. It's kind of in remembrance, in simulation of all the parents, all the medical staff, anybody who's involved with these sick kids, to kind of show them that we understand that we're working to help them. And it's kind of a really cool connection that you make just to show that you're making a sacrifice as well and working hard to support them.
Dance Marathon surely is a day of dancing, and well, more dancing, all in the name of children in need. All proceeds made will go to help sick children at Akron Children's Hospital. It was a great event, and I was so glad to be a part of it. This has been Chris Seifert, Lights, Camera, Akron.
Thank you for tuning in to this final episode of Lights, Camera, Akron for the semester. Be sure to like us on Facebook, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and follow us on Twitter at ZTV LCA.
This has been Brooke McKivergan
and Matt Barnhart.